my friends, and this is Rooster Jones. Happy 2025. And today we have Jeff of Squad 50, the front man, the main honcho, the Sancho, the man of the minute. And we have him on. I have a little bit of history with this band, which is pretty enjoying. So it's kind of cool to this is cool to have him here. This is really neat. Part of the Rooster legacy, waking up, growing up in life. Today's shirt is dismantled because I love Kurt and Dismantled Records, and they're my boys, they're my people, and they put out punk and good oi. So it's good to have them. Hello and welcome to Rooster Show. We have Jeff. How you doing, sir?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Well, it's wonderful that this actually works
Yeah,
right
glad to
off the
be here.
bat. Yeah,
Sorry we had to push it back.
I had a band yesterday that it uh it was on Echo the whole time for him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I rescheduled that, homie. I got him taken care of. But yeah, the whole time he was talking, it was echo, echo, echo everything he was saying. So the long answers, the good, solid, meaningful answers were all just muddled up. It was like,
Oh,
oh
wow.
man. I was like,
Well,
hey,
hopefully,
well,
how's my
good
audio? Pretty good?
conversation. It was a good combo though, man. Good conversation, good times.
Good.
Well, welcome to the Rooster Show, man. You're a beginning of, well, actually, the lead was the first band I got on here that was Christian.
Uh-huh.
I grew up loving the early Christian music was just amazing. And back in the early '90s, there were just so many cool bands. Michael Knott came out with his stuff, and just everybody else that followed One Bad Pig, and just so much good stuff. Even the metal back then was amazing.
Yeah.
Vengeance Rising, as Seventh Angel, and I still listen to all that to today. I listen to it all. I love it. I'm listening to Altar Boys right now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. Gut level music, baby. I mean,
BLM.
you gotta have some faith. Just because you're
Yeah,
punk rock doesn't mean that you have to not have faith.
that's
Enough
true, man.
about enough about me. Pleasure to have you, man. Good to have
Well,
you.
thanks for having me. Thanks for having me,
That's,
man. How's my audio? Everything good?
yeah, everything's great.
Okay, good, good, good.
Last time I saw you, man, you had your hair like Robert Smith.
Yeah, yeah, that's not so much the case anymore, unfortunately.
I
I'd love
did
to have
that
that hair
today
back.
too. See, I did it.
Yeah. Oh, nice, nice. Looking good,
Yeah,
man.
did it for you, buddy. Did it for you.
Appreciate it.
I
Appreciate it.
set up your stage one time and at at college here in Twin Falls, Idaho,
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah.
it was pretty fun, man. It was a good show. So, anyways,
Awesome.
tell me about yourself. I mean, I know that you have an album that just came out in 2022.
Yeah.
Is that are you guys still around? You guys just do special stuff, or what's going on with you?
Yeah, we just not really doing music full time anymore, but with the advent of the pandemic back in 2020, I think we all found ourselves with a little bit more time on our hands, and
Yeah,
we started talking, like kind of like this, talking over Zoom, and just talking about the idea of like, we could really record and make music anywhere nowadays. You have Pro Tools. And so we just started kicking around the idea of maybe writing some new tunes and recording them. And, just over that I guess that first year of the pandemic, or really the first 4 or 5 months, we started getting really serious about it. And
yeah.
in July of 2020, we rented a beach house in on Tybee Island, Georgia, which is right down the street from me, and we knocked out a couple tunes, man. And it was awesome. It was a lot of fun, a whole lot of fun. Kind of not really like the orthodox way of recording. We did vocals and bass mainly because John and I, I teach and John works at a
Turn the
doctor's
light on,
office,
please.
and
Yeah, yeah.
and so it just we kind of had a time frame we had to get things done in, we actually ended up doing vocals and bass before we did the actual drum tracks, which is super unorthodox, but it's just sort of the way it worked out. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. We play spot dates here and there. We haven't played together since 23, but we're hoping to do something in this new year.
I gotcha.
A good friend of ours, Caleb Jackson, just com completed a documentary about our band called Squad 5 is Here to Stay, and he wants to do a screening over here in Savannah. And so I think we're gonna kind of do a hybrid of screening of his documentary with like sort of a live show at some point in the early part of this year. But yeah, just sort of, not really doing music full time. Still love music completely and all types of music. And but just I've been teaching the last 15 years, and
Yeah.
that's sort of my career now. And totally
Oh,
love it.
awesome. For you.
So I'm in a good spot, man. It's hard to complain.
Yeah, good for you. Man, I'm gonna tell you, the album that got me going was What I Believe, obviously.
Oh yeah.
That album was perfect because I'm an Operation Ivy fan too.
Oh yeah.
So and yeah, and you can tell that you got that those op Ivy vibes going.
Oh yeah.
And
Absolutely.
it's exceptional. I love it. So I because it would be personally, I've always been the more aggressive punker. I've always liked
Yeah.
that style, the more intense. It's got to be in your face.
Right.
So, but it's and you brought that with that album and Fight the System really had that perfect balance of everything.
Yeah.
You still play tracks off those albums?
Yeah, we do. We do. Usually when we get together, we play a lot of stuff off the self-titled album,
Yeah.
a good bit off of Bombs, and then we'll have a
Oh
section
yeah.
where it's just we jokes
Broadway.
like we got to stretch right before it because we play a bunch of the faster punk stuff back to back, like Ramon style, where the only division is maybe a 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's I mean, that's a sprint. The show overall, a show's sort of a marathon, but the section where we break out the old punk ska stuff, that's a
Yeah, yeah.
sprint. And
The
it's
reason why I
sometimes they're
ask,
easier to others.
the reason why I ask is there is a definite transition. You see that your band, like with the album that's behind me,
Right.
a lot more Scotch. You know,
Yeah.
is I mean, it's like each album started going more towards the ska route. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Heavier at the beginning, not as much at the end.
Right.
Was that intentional, or is ska
Yeah.
more your way?
Well, I think we were never like, I guess, truly a ska band or into ska. Like if you listen to especially the first two albums,
Well, yeah,
um,
you had a good
the two biggest
balance.
influences are Op Ivy, clearly, in 7 Seconds. Like if you go and listen to any 7 Seconds album and
Love
then
it.
listen to Op Ivy, and if those two bands had a baby, it would have been Squad 5. And then of course after that we got a little more on the rock and roll side of things. But with the new album, definitely have trended back towards the ska roots.
Yeah,
Um, uh, but I mean, to us, it's just we were just trying to play music that was interesting to us at the time. And of course, when the band first started as a three-piece, we were heavily into 7 Seconds and a lot of the BYO bands from back
yeah.
in that day, and even like a
I'm
lot of the
still a
early
major
like
7 seconds. Love
oh
7 seconds. So, yeah,
phenomenal.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
so I guess we were just sort of like just playing whatever was interesting to us at the time. And when we did this last album, it was definitely like sort of a return to those ska punk roots
yeah.
on some of the tracks.
Gotcha. Wonderful. That's awesome. So you guys are not separate. It's just you have other things kind of going on that are priority. And if
Yeah,
something does come up, then you're available.
yeah, absolutely.
Kind
Yeah,
of
that's how it works.
basically, gotcha. Yeah, you don't want it to die. You want it
Yeah,
to keep going. You did start something that was, tremendous. It's a I mean, I'm telling you, those two albums are so iconic, and then the Broadway album was brilliant as well. I
Thank
mean,
you.
that's my buddy's favorite album.
Nice.
I mean, I'm still stuck on the first two albums. Just
Yeah.
like you can't get the first that the one and only major really Operation Ivy album.
Yeah.
It's just perfect the way it is.
Yeah. It's
And
true.
it's timeless. And
Yeah.
those albums were timeless to me.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
and I was noticing I was doing a little bit of research, but on Wikipedia that it kind of showed that you guys kind of stopped playing was in 2022 or something like that. That you guys probably ended for a while.
Well,
That your
well,
as you as vocals ended as a vocalist.
yeah, I mean, the band broke up more or less in 2005 actually.
Okay.
And then yeah, and then I went back to school and became a teacher, and then we
Of what?
started I teach Spanish actually. Kind
No, really.
of random, but yeah, yeah. I went back to
Gee,
school in my 30s, and it
that's
turned out
all
I
I
was
know.
really good at Spanish. Yeah, well, it's pretty good, pretty good.
I can
Um,
order a good Mexican restaurant though. I can order, yeah. I know
yeah,
what they say. That's about it though. I got around
yeah.
in Tijuana.
There you go. Hey,
That's all that
that's
matters.
the real deal too, man. But yeah, so we quit doing the band full time in '05, and then my twin brother John, who plays the bass,
Yeah,
he joined a
exactly.
band. He joined a band called The Kick, which became Gasoline Heart, with Louis DeFabrizio, who was a really good friend of ours, who was in other bands like Tenderfoot and Pure Ephesus. And John did music for maybe 10 more years after I had hung it up. Um, but it was probably 20, I think in 2017, Five Iron Frenzy reached out
Yeah.
to us, and they sort of do the band part time now as well. Like they do weekend shows, and they wanted us to do a couple weekend shows with them out in California, and that was the first time we'd all played together since 2005. So it's been 12 years since we played together. Um, and we got back and did a few shows with Five Iron. And then in early 2018, they did a couple shows on the East Coast in Florida and in Atlanta.
Hmm.
And they asked us to come out for those too. So 2017, 2018 were the first times we played together since '05. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I would say it's a lot more fun to do the music thing when you're not trying to pay your bills with it.
Yeah,
Because when
yeah,
you're
yeah.
trying to pay your bills doing it,
Oh,
it's very stressful.
it's
But when you're
well,
just doing
it's
it for
fun,
fun,
It's
yeah,
kind of like working class. I mean,
yeah,
we're a working class generation,
yeah,
anyways. Well, I mean,
yeah,
we are. I love
right,
working still. I don't mind
yeah,
paying the bills that way. It's what has to
yeah,
be done. I don't care. Get
exactly,
dirty. Frame
right.
a house. Let's do it.
Love it, man. I love it.
Heck yeah, dude. So, well, you're a teacher. That's awesome. Good for you.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
what's your brother John doing now?
He's like an office manager at a doctor's office. He's been doing that for a good bit now. He really
Oh,
loves it. He manages a few different branches of the office. And he's down in Orlando. I'm still up in Savannah, Georgia.
okay.
Um, our guitar player Chris is down in Orlando now. And then Adam and Dave both still live in like the Philadelphia, New Jersey area. And then Justin, the guy that drums on Bombs Over Broadway and the guy that drums on the album behind you,
Okay.
he's in Arizona. So we're sort of all over.
Oh, wow, you are. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So you said
Well,
you had a
with
couple.
technology, it's a lot easier to stay in touch.
Yeah. I actually love this Zoom. Zoom's
Yeah,
amazing. I mean, yeah, you can reach out and literally touch someone.
that's
Um,
true. Yeah.
yeah. So you said earlier something about having a couple tracks in the works, new
Um,
stuff,
well, we don't per
or
se
do you
have any
have?
like
Are
new.
you gonna work on anything new,
I
like on the
think
side? Are you kind of having some ideas flowing?
I think the idea is that eventually we would love to record some more stuff. But it's just kind of making it happen. I think that the next thing on the horizon for Squad 50 is, like I said, our friend Caleb Jackson just finished up a documentary about the band, and he wants to do a screening here in Savannah. So I think the next thing on our horizon is trying to get that going, and we're gonna
All right.
actually play a show along with it. But I
Are
can
you
see
on
us writing
Capitol
some new music.
Records, by the way?
We were, yeah, that's our last album came out on Capitol. Yeah.
The
Well,
sound
not the
behind
last
me.
album. The album behind you we put out ourselves.
Oh, okay.
Uh, but the album before that, Late News Breaking, our last like official release, I guess.
Didn't that have like
That came out on
22
Capitol.
tracks on it?
That was
That was the one right before that, huh?
yeah, that no, 22 would have been actually I think
Dude, we're bad.
Fight the System, we put 50 tracks on as a
Ooh,
joke.
I was just listening to some Crash Dog, man. Do you like them?
Oh, yeah, I like Crash Dog.
I
I got a
love
couple
Crash.
tattoos inspired by Crash Dog.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Pretty
So
awesome.
late news breaking,
Yeah.
and
That was
then
our last big
okay, yeah,
release, I
okay,
guess.
okay, all right, all right. Now we're not crazy. That one had like I thought, yeah, no, that only has 12. Okay, maybe I
Yeah.
was thinking of the other ones because one of them had.
Fight the
Okay, they
System,
both
not Fight
have
the
13.
System.
Both have 13. Okay, I'm not. I'm going
Yeah.
crazy. I'm old, older. You anyway. So anyway, so do you kind of do you play any? You play guitar, don't you?
I did, yeah. When the band first started, I played
Yeah.
guitar and sang.
Do you still play at times?
Not very well, but yeah, I do. I play a lot of, this is gonna be really funny, but I play a lot of ukulele now.
Oh
I own
wow. Okay.
several ukuleles. Got a few here at the house, and I got one at school that I mess around on, and if I get any downtime. But play a lot of ukulele and guitar. Those are the only two instruments that I truly play.
Getting at
Um,
is do you miss creating music?
I do, yeah, I do. The part of the creative process is just you know, the fun of being with your friends and working on something collaboratively to become something bigger than the sum of the parts. But I do
Yeah,
miss making
I
music.
understand that. Yeah, definitely. That's awesome. Especially one of your brothers. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, your
exactly.
brother that you actually started a band with. So
Hmm.
that's even better.
Yeah.
Do you guys play around a little bit at times? Like,
We try
uh,
to. Um, I don't see him as much as I'd like to because he's down in Florida. But we actually just saw him for the holidays. But yeah, and he's still working. John's still working with Gasoline Heart as well, and they're
huh.
working on some new music that's gonna come out probably this year as well.
That's awesome, man. Well,
Yeah,
I've been trying to bring back some of the bands that were that I kind of grew up loving.
right.
That I when I was in a teenager. I was jamming out to all these bands. Just going into the Marine Corps, I was listening to you. And
Yeah,
yeah, so that it's just so it's I'm trying to get in touch with a bunch of them. Got 90 Pound Wuss coming on.
that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's cool. I'm in touch with One Bad Pig. A few other some other people, that
Yeah,
I don't want to say right now. They're not
right.
confirmed and not confirmed, but I'm
Gotcha.
trying to my best to do that with that and the metal, Christian metal. Honestly, I can't play. I love rap music, but I cannot play like some of these people play, like Living Sacrifice. Come on,
Oh yeah,
dude. Come
yeah,
on now. How the
yeah.
heck you do that? You know
Next
what I mean?
level, man. Yeah, I do.
Bruce, man, that dude's voice is just amazing. And then the way he plays just takes it to a whole nother level. It's just even if you're not a death metal fan or whatever, you're still gonna be a fan of Living Sacrifice after that show.
Yeah,
Because they,
yeah,
they just they put their guts into it, man. They just sound
yeah.
so amazing. So
Yeah, I'm not a huge metal fan, but we did a tour with them back in the day, and it was one of the better tours we'd ever been on. It was so much fun, and they killed it every night, man.
awesome.
They were so good, so good.
Yeah, they're still good. I mean, their album Ghost, the Ghost or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, Ghost or something. The last one, main one, it was excellent. It was like, wow, it brought you back to feeling of the first album.
Yeah,
This is that's so. Oh, anyways, so yeah, I'm trying to do what I can to bring back a lot of that Christian music and stuff
that's
like that. Do
awesome,
you
man.
guys Christian consider yourself still a Christian band?
I don't know if we consider the band to be a Christian band.
Or did
I know that John, my brother, myself, and our guitarist Chris, I mean, all three of us profess to be Christians
yeah,
still. Like, I
same
still consider myself
myself
a follower
too.
of Christ. Yeah, but I don't. I, I, I mean, I don't. I think when we first started the band, we sort of thought of it as a ministry, and then, and that was probably through the first two albums, and then after that, we thought of it more of just like a career. I always just thought about bands like U2, who were Christians by faith, but they made music that was,
Of
accessible to
course,
all people. Yeah.
exactly, of
But
course.
uh, but yeah, I would say the members of the band, the majority, the three of us, still consider ourselves to be followers of Christ. But we don't really view the band as like a ministry
I got
or
you.
like a nonprofit or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's just life. You
Hmm.
know, that's just
Yeah.
it. And
Yes,
it
sir.
happens to like my God, my life. Like that
Hmm.
song. I mean,
Yeah.
you came out and said it there. But yeah, and notice it wasn't necessarily professed all the time in the
Yeah.
lyrics, but they were just normal life lyrics. And
Yeah.
which is what it's all about, anyways. I
Yes,
mean,
sir.
it's and having that relationship in your life with God is just icing on the cake. If you have that,
Yeah.
so anyway, so that's
Yeah.
good.
Yes, sir.
Uh, the lead, man, it was cool talking with them too, man. They had a real joy of the Lord still, man. And Nina's still going
That's
at it.
awesome.
She's got another side project, but it's like goth rockish, like dark wave-ish
Oh,
almost.
wow.
It's
Okay.
like, and her voice is just amazing in it. And we stay in contact. I'll hook you up a link to it so you can
Okay.
hear some of it.
That's
It's
awesome. I'd
amazing.
love to.
Voice is
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, yeah. The lead, they're awesome. So, anyways, so enough about other bands. So, can you work in do other genres? What kind of what did you mean by that? You played with kind of fiddled with other genres a little bit, or was that
Well, yeah.
listening to you listen?
Well, I mean,
You listen to
I
okay.
listen to all kinds of stuff,
I
but
think
I
I
mean,
just answered my own question.
yeah. I mean, Squad, you could say that we dipped our toes in several genres. I mean, we clearly were a punk ska band to begin with, and then we
Yeah,
became more of like a rock and roll kind of glam rock sort of deal, and then went just back straight more towards the punk thing, but more like the Clash, um, than like 7 Seconds or something like that.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
it'd be like the Op Ivy's metamorphosis into Rancid, It's like even Rancid when they first started, Rancid was more hardcore punk and morphed back into that sort of like, where they had their ska songs
Yep.
alongside their punk songs. But I mean, every album I think has sounded a little different than the one before. And, well, the first two pretty much are carbon copies, but after that, I feel like every album sort of was its own
Well, pardon
creation.
me.
Like now, like as far as like music I'm listening to right now, like I listen to stuff from all over the genre. I mean, all the genre, all over several genres. It was actually this past year was just a great year for like bands that I loved from a long time ago putting out new music that was really good. Like I don't know if you're into The Cure, but The Cure's new album is just like it's like top three Cure album. And they gotta be in their late 50s, early 60s, right? I
The
mean,
Cure is my favorite band of all time.
dude, that new album is just
Definitely.
phenomenal.
So,
And then
so
Starflyer 59 put out a phenomenal album this year.
I like
and
them.
a band
I'm
called
trying to
Lux
get a
Spring.
hold of. I'm trying to get a hold of Mr. Martin.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be awesome. I hope he would answer back. He's a past. Oh wait, no,
that's his brother.
that's his brother's a pastor,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah, yeah. Ronnie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ronnie, good old Ronnie and Jason.
yeah. They're good people, man. I keep up.
I
Ronnie and I
love Dance
still
House
talk.
Children, to be honest with you. I was a
Yeah, yeah,
massive Dance House Children fan, dude. I love
yeah.
them. It's just that's because I their vocals were almost like Erasure, like
Hmm.
that whispery,
Yeah,
sensual and all that. But the music was just top
yeah.
notch techno,
Some
like
talented brothers,
acid
man.
techno.
Some
Those were
super
good
talented
days.
brothers.
It was
They were.
so. I mean, it just and they even branched off and did other brand projects that were amazing, like that. Ah, okay, can't remember. Anyways, I was listening. The Forest, something. Mole something Forest, Motel and
Oh,
Forest.
they were actually called Morella's Forest. Yeah,
Yeah, Morello's
for a
Forest,
while.
1988 album.
Yeah,
Oh, it was
before the
like,
other Morella's Forest. Yeah,
yeah, it was so awesome. So
yeah, dude.
yeah, definitely. Were
They're cool,
you
man.
were you much of a Michael Knott fan?
Big Mike Knott fan, man. Especially like
Ellis,
LSU.
yeah,
Um,
it's sad that he's
LSU put
passed
out some
away.
great albums back in the day. Yeah, we played with him at Cornerstone Festival one year. He came up on main stage. We were playing and we did Rock Stars on Heroin with him. It was a
Wow.
lot of fun. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So that was like playing with him at Cornerstone, and then we did a week's worth of shows with Social Distortion back in the early 2000s. Those two
Huh.
experiences were the closest I think I'd ever come to like, experiencing the whole like meeting your rock idol sort of thing, like that's as
I
close as
get
it
you.
came for me. Yeah, it was phenomenal,
Awesome.
man. And they were both so cool. Like Mike Knott and Mike Ness were both just the coolest guys. Um, I'm grateful for both those experiences, man. Like just phenomenal. And Mike Knott actually on Late News Breaking, he did some vocals and different things like that on that album. So
Yeah.
yeah, he was big. He was huge. Like when I first got into like the Christian alternative scene,
Youth and Nail records and all that.
yeah, well even pre-Tooth
What
and Nail,
happened?
man, like Blonde Vinyl, yeah. We had
The Blonde
LSU and
Vinyl. Yep.
even bands like Adam again, Gene Eugene, and those
Oh, I love
guys.
Adam again. Oh,
Yeah,
great.
huge.
Homeboys. Homeboys.
The Lost Dogs. You
Yeah.
already said the Altar Boys was probably one of my first really big
That was
Christian
my
punk
first
influences.
Christian punk
Yeah,
concert. Yeah.
that's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah. It was the
some
Altar
bands
Boys.
like
The
that,
Gut
that's what
Level
laid the
Music
foundation.
album, dude. It was that
Phenomenal.
tour.
So good. It's
I
so
actually
earnest, man.
had that on had that actually on vinyl at one point. Gut Level Music. I
Oh, that's
love that.
awesome.
Yeah. We're gonna be having special guest Randy Rose on
Okay.
here. Yeah, from Man at the World.
Yeah, yeah. Man, that's good.
Okay,
That one
got
Man at
him
the World
coming
album is
up.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's
and so
phenomenal.
I
You're
dig
digging
those.
deep, man.
I'm trying though.
That's
It's
awesome.
like I mean I could definitely use some help, dude, spreading the word. People,
Yeah,
but I am trying my best to get those Christian artists noticed again. A little bit. And it was
yeah.
a phenomenal time. And I don't want it to ever end. It's not done with me. We're listening to it right now. In fact, Adam begins on right now.
That's
Dig.
awesome.
It's a love of I mean, my son loves the Lord. My wife loves the Lord. Our cats, well, we don't know if they love the Lord, but we're trying.
That's awesome. Do all you
So
can with cats, man.
yeah, that's what it's about. I mean, you got to
Yeah.
be a well-rounded person. And I think having faith is one of those things. You can be a
Yeah, it is.
skinhead. I know a guy who's a skinhead, actually,
Hmm.
who's a pastor.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, he has a skinhead band called the Bricks,
Oh, that's
and
cool.
he loves the lead and all that too. We talk about old times and old
Yeah,
music that that we just did. But he's a great band. You need to look him up. He's a good guy, good
bricks.
dude.
Okay,
The Bricks.
that's
I'll
awesome, dude.
I'll send you a link.
It's so weird that whole Christian alternative tooth and nail eventually sort of scene. Like it's not super known to everyone, but for those of us that were into it, I mean, it was like a sweet time, man. It was like a very like at least when we first got into it, man, back in the late 90s, there was like a naivety to it, like an innocence to it. I think that's the word I'm looking for, like an innocence. Which I still say anytime when Squad was at its best, it was more about like the spirit of the band. Like there was a spirit to our band that came from our faith. And when we were at our best, it was when we sort of let that spirit reign. And when we were at our worst, it's when we sort of like put ourselves at the center.
Well,
Um,
you did this to yourself. When do you feel
right.
like you guys were at your best, and when do you feel like you were at your worst?
I think we're definitely like at our worst just as far as like, I don't know, the overall spirit or attitude of the band. I mean, right towards the end, like 05-ish, 04, 05-ish. Um, the sweetest days in the band to me were those first couple of tours in 97 and 98 where we didn't really even know what we were doing. I was trying to my son's 22. He's the age I was when I got married, and he still seems like a kid, and that's, I'd already been on the road for a year at 22. And
Wow,
we were just kids, really, when you think about it. And trying to
you were.
explain to him, it's like, my son's name's Cooper. I'm like, Cooper, like we used to go from one coast to the other with no phones. Like we had no phones. We had no map on our phones. We had a road atlas. We would call the venue and get directions from the interstate to the venue, and then we'd look at an atlas to get us to the town, and then we'd look at the directions to get us from the interstate to the venue. And I was like, it really was just like sort of there was an innocence to it. There was a naivety. There was like a just being young and dumb about it, and those were really sweet times. I mean, I enjoyed all 10 years of Squad 5 man. Like, we did it for 10 years, and all 10 years had their ups and downs. But really, to me, those early days, man, where, there's just three or four of us in a van driving around
Yeah,
America. Those are that, yeah, like
that's awesome.
there's just a wide
It's
eye wonder about
like
it,
you're
man.
living your dream,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
doing your contribution to the scene. You know what I mean? That's
That's
awesome.
true.
Good
That's
stuff,
true.
man.
Yeah, man.
You still feel that? Do you, or do you miss that feeling? I should say.
I do. I miss performing for sure. I miss the connection between a band and a crowd. Like, sometimes my students ask me, they know I was in a band. And they're like, "Do you ever miss it?" I'm like, "Well, I miss performing. I miss the connection of
Yeah,
of connecting with a crowd." Um, but I mean, I don't necessarily miss like being away from my family, or sleeping in basements. And I
of
think
course.
sometimes kids hear you're in a band and they think, you were staying in like the nicest hotels. And a lot of times we were sleeping on floors in basements and couches. Like it was a little bit different than like Bon Jovi or something. But no, I do. I mean, I do miss it. But one of the cool things about being a teacher is like I still perform every day. Like I have
Yeah,
90-minute blocks. I have a captive audience for 90 minutes. I'm just not singing punk rock music. I'm teaching the Spanish language.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. Wow. Oh, what got you to wanting to do Spanish, if you don't mind
I
me
don't,
asking?
I think it was just Providence, man. Like I knew I wanted to teach. So I went back to school in '07, and I thought I was going to teach middle school. But then I took a Spanish class as an elective because I needed to fill up one more slot in my schedule. And
Yeah.
so I took Spanish class and I ended up loving it. I was just sort of like good at it. I don't really remember being good at it in high school. And so I just sort of pursued that. I'm like, well, let me see how good I can be at this. And then I decided, hey, I think this is what I want to teach. And so I talked to my counselor and I was like, I want to teach this. And it's, oh, there's a pathway for that. And so I just got on the pathway and I got my bachelor's in Spanish, with a minor, well, not a minor. Got my degree is a Bachelor of Arts in Spanish with teacher certification. So I got
Damn.
certified as a teacher at the same time I got my degree. And I've just been teaching ever since. I knew I wanted to teach, but
Good for
I
you.
really just luckily stumbled into Spanish. It's a really cool subject. Very
Good for you.
useful
That
nowadays too. Yeah.
well, that same place that I saw you at, which was College of Southern Idaho,
Yeah.
um, and I graduated there. And so did my wife and my son.
Uh-huh.
So all
Oh, that's
three of us
awesome,
have
man.
graduated from that college. So just to
You
let
know,
you know.
I was there when that's where I found out that my wife was pregnant with our first child, was at that college.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. I got a phone. I phoned home, and that's when she told me that we were pregnant. And I remember being at that university in Idaho. So that's a very special place to me
Wow.
as well. I didn't graduate from
Yeah,
there, but
cool, man. That's some
my
cool
life
history.
changed. Yeah,
That's cool, man. That's so awesome. So,
yeah.
well, we're kind of getting a little bit low on time.
Okay, man.
Didn't want to know if you have anybody you like to thank for all your years of music and people helping you throughout.
Yeah,
Some
absolutely. I
shout
mean,
outs, man. Go for it.
okay, of course, I want to thank, my first of all, my brother, who's been with me since the womb. Uh, you know,
Hi, John.
um, yeah, hey, what's up, John? And
What's
then,
up,
of
John?
course, all our band members, man, especially Chris Klein, who Chris is more than anything the motor that is propelling the newest things that Squad 50 does. He has a vision of he's just constantly spitting out music. And some of it we use for squad stuff and some of it he does his own stuff with.
Awesome.
But yeah, just Chris is huge. Justin and Adam Garbinski, the Garbinski brothers, who both played in the band. Dave Peterson, Jason Michael Anderson, Justin Kohut. I mean, there's so many people along the way, uh, you know, that I have to be thankful for. I mean, most thankful for people like you that still think about our band and love it. As far as like
Yeah, yeah.
musical icons go, I feel like we're pretty far down the line. But
Fight the
uh
system. Fight the
yeah,
system.
yeah, there are people who love the music we made, man, and I'm thankful for that, more than anything.
Yep.
And I'm also just super thankful that through the whole career of the band and um my life after the band and everything, my family who was with me through all my touring days, my wife, both my kids, my parents who supported us from day one when we decided to do music instead of college, back in our
Yeah.
teens. Uh, just super thankful for them, and of course, I'm just thankful that like we were a band that started out, with a strong faith-based creed, I guess,
Yeah.
and then we may have changed like the purpose of the band over time, and maybe even the message of the band over time. But I'm thankful that most of us still um, cling to our faith, cling to the Lord, and
Yep.
look to Him for our guidance and our purpose and our identity. And I'm just in a
That's
really
good.
big way, but also a small way, just grateful that He gave me that band
Right
to
on.
learn and grow from. Yeah,
Well, if you guys do have a new album
yeah,
ever come out, hit me up. We can do a
okay,
promo. Have you
all
guys
right,
back. And you guys can, yeah, we'll just do a
absolutely, dude.
promo, man. You guys talk about every track, tell about it
That
and tell your story.
will do, dude.
Have, and
Appreciate
have
it.
your other peoples around, man. We can have people from different areas. So
Yeah, absolutely,
uh, just takes an email, bud. So
absolutely.
it was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much, Jeff, for being
Yeah,
here.
Roosta,
And
thank you, brother.
you're always welcome on the show. And I thank you again and appreciate everything you've already done for the scene. And looking forward to if you got something deep in there that you want to let out. So
Okay, all right.
don't forget, you can still yell,
Okay,
scream,
man.
let it out, buddy.
That's true, man.
Punk's not dead, dude, ever.
Punk's not dead.
Right on.
Punk's
Stay
not dead.
true. God bless you. God bless your family. Take
Hey,
care.
God bless you, brother. Thank you.
More rock, less cock here on the Rooster Show. We had Squad 50. Thank you.
All right, brother. Thanks a lot.
Right on. Peace.
picture is old, it's one torn and dead, but your smile is the same as the boys remembered it. So beautiful, so innocent, same look in your eyes, the there has always been, gazing off into the distance with the same look that is staring at me now. You're the one, you see right through me. You're the one, what's all done. You're the one, into the ribbon. You're the one, so I knew it all along. Now love arrives like a shot in the dark, and the years go by like the seconds on the clock. 18 years have come and gone so fast, like the sands that are slipping through an hourglass. How can I say when what you say? A million songs can never explain the single point that I'm trying to make, to become one, a bond that will never break. You're the one, you see right through me. You're the one, it's all done. You're the one, into the room. You're the one, so I knew it all along. For rich, I'm up for poor, we'll face this world together and all the troubles for us. Your hand in mine.